the motherfucking relay where we're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Well, it appears that the PBC has recently inked a deal with In Demand. In Demand, the leading transactional video on-demand and pay-per-view programming distributor owned by Charter Communications, Comcast Cable, and Cox Communications, announced that it has finalized a deal with Premier Boxing Champions for a programming output deal that guarantees In Demand a long-term slate of pay-per-view boxing events over the next several years. It was announced by Mark Bacardi, In Demand's SVP, Programming and Marketing. PBC has the best fighters and the most anticipated bouts in the boxing world today, said In Demand's Bocardi. We've been distributing the PBC's exciting matches on pay-per-view for some time, but we've now cemented our alliance for the next several years. It's gratifying that Premier Boxing Champions recognizes the benefits of committing to a long-term partnership and reaping the rewards that In Demand offers our pay-per-view content providers, revenue distribution, and marketing support. We're very excited about this new arrangement with In Demand, said Tim Smith, VP of Communications for Heyman Boxing and a representative for the PBC. It means that Premier Boxing Champions will continue to be able to deliver the best, most compelling matches in boxing on pay-per-view for the next several years. Now, this news is in keeping with what Fox executive Bill Wanger said in regards to their future plans for the PBC, that they mean to stage 4 to 5 pay-per-views per year. And given this deal that the PBC has struck with In Demand, it seems that all the pieces are falling into place. But what does this mean for the boxing fans? You know, for the people on the ground? What does this actually mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means that a lot of shit y'all used to get for free, a lot of shit that you were getting on either regular old Fox or regular old Showtime, that's going to turn out to be shit you have to pay for now. That's what it means. You often hear it said that the PBC has the largest stable of fighters, and they've got all the biggest names in the sport of boxing, but that's not actually true.
Think about it.
I mean, take the cruiserweight division, for example. What do they got going on at cruiserweight? We know they got some ponies in the show upstairs at heavyweight, but a lot of people got ponies in the show at heavyweight, not just the PBC. They don't have a stranglehold over the heavyweight division, at least not yet. You know, maybe this weekend's fight will help them out, but better still, you know, okay, you got some ponies in the show at heavyweight, though you're not running things up there. What do you got at cruiserweight? You know, what do you got going on there? What do you got going on at light heavyweight? Because it seems that Top Rank's got a stranglehold at light heavyweight.
They got most of the belts.
The only world champion not already on the Top Rank side of things is Dimitri Bivol, but in all likelihood, he's gonna end up having to go over there for a fight, an important fight, a significant one. PBC don't got a lot going on at 175, aside from 3 guys doing some kind of a round robin for baby belts, a baby belt, a lesser version of a title that Dimitri Bivol holds. That's all they got going on. They don't got, you know, all the stars at 175. They don't even have all the stars at 168, super middleweight. The world titles at 168 are split evenly between PBC and Matchroom. PBC don't have a stranglehold over that weight class.
They don't.
And Matchroom has ample guys to go around to keep their 2 world champions, Billy Joe Saunders and Callum Smith, busy. They got plenty of activity for both of those guys while they build up what is to be their fight. PBC don't have a stranglehold over 168. At 160, forget it. All they got is Jamal Charlo. That's it. That's all they got. Gennady Golovkin's with DAZN. Canelo's with DAZN. Demetrius Andrade is with DAZN. They've got ample contenders to keep any one of those 3 guys busy, you know, whereas Jamal Charlo, he's stuck fighting a guy that Jaime Munguia fought already. That's what the PBC's got going on at 160. You know, so they don't have all the stars there either. Now, at 154, it's safe to say that they've got most of the talent at 154, and the same is true at 147. You can wholeheartedly say that those are the 2 divisions where the PBC has the most ponies in the show. But there are no stars at 154.
Nope.
So, I mean, in terms of having the best and brightest fighters in the sport of boxing, well, there are no stars at junior middleweight where they've got most of the ponies in the show. At welterweight, they do have Manny Pacquiao. You know, it's debatable whether or not a Danny Garcia or a Keith Thurman or a Sean Porter is a star. But they do have Manny Pacquiao. However, Manny Pacquiao is what, 40? I mean, how long are you going to ride that scooter? How long do you think you're going to be able to keep this guy around to stage mildly successful pay-per-views? It's nothing against Manny, it's just that he is getting older. He's not going to be around forever. Is that what you mean when you say you have most of the talent? I mean, look at 140. What does the PBC have going on at 140? What do they got? Nothing. What, Adrian Broner? I don't know. Mikey Garcia, I think. I'm not sure. That guy needs to make up his mind. I don't know where he's going, but, all the belts, that they're with other people. One half of the belts is with Top Rank, and the other half is with Josh Taylor, who's likely going to end up going to either Matchroom, possibly Top Rank, we'll see. Likely Matchroom, though, but PBC don't got nothing going on at 140. They don't got nothing going on at 135 either. The biggest names at 135 are Top Rank fighters. Oh, yeah, Gervonta Davis is there, but he's not the biggest name at the weight. Vasyl Lomachenko is the biggest name at the weight, and the most important fights at 135 are all Top Rank events. Teofimo Lopez versus Richard Commey very soon at the end of the year. And then the winner of that fight squaring off against Vasyl Lomachenko. That's all Top Rank stuff. PBC don't got the biggest names at that weight, not at 135, not at 130 either. They got Leo Santa Cruz moving into that weight class, but nobody gives a shit about that guy or his fights.
They don't.
Jamel Herring is with Top Rank. Miguel Berchelt is with Top Rank. Kevin Farmer is with Matchroom. PBC don't got a lot going on in that weight class either, They don't got most of the talent there. You go down a little further, 126. All the PBC's got going on at 126, at least now, is Gary Russell, a guy who's been fighting once a year for 5 years or something like that now? That's what they got going on. Shakur Stevenson, the Top Rank guy. Josh Warrington, he's a Queensbury Promotions guy, but Queensbury is in bed with Top Rank. So you could kind of call him a Top Rank guy. I mean, if people on this side of the world are going to watch a Josh Warrington fight, it's likely going to be on ESPN or ESPN Plus, and that's due to their ties to Top Rank. Most of what's going on there, it's not going on for the PBC. You go down a little further, 122.
They got nothing.
Emmanuel Navarrete, that's a Top Rank guy. Ray Vargas, that's a Golden Boy guy. Daniel Roman, that's a Matchroom guy. PBC's got nothing going on at 122 pounds, and the same is true at 118. 118, what do they got?
Rigo.
Two of the belts are with Inui, who's a Top Rank guy. Ubali's got ties to Top Rank more or less. I mean, he's an MTK guy, and MTK, they'll work with Top Rank to make fights. Now, the situation with Casimiro is a bit of a sordid affair because he's promoted by Manny Pacquiao and managed by Sean Gibbons. Although I'm not sure if that means we should expect to see him on Fox or we should expect to see him on Showtime. Because the reality is, for Casimiro, the biggest fight he can be involved in is a Naoya Inoue fight. That's the biggest name at the weight. That's the money fight. That's the money guy. And that guy is a Top Rank guy. You're not going to be the A-side to Naoya Inoue. So, I mean, if Casimiro is to pursue any career advancement, and it appears that he is, because he's openly calling out Naoya Inoue. He's telling the monster he wants to fight him. If he's to be involved in anything of any significance, it's not going to be happening on a PBC promotion. In all likelihood, he's going to have to go to Top Rank to get that Inoue fight. That's the fight that he wants. So, I mean, the PBC doesn't have anything going on over there, and they don't have very much going on at 115. I mean, I can do this all day. But the reality of it, when we get to the reality of it, the PBC only actually has a stronghold over 2 weight classes, and one of those weight classes doesn't have any household names, doesn't have any bona fide stars. It's junior middleweight. So they really only have
one stronghold.
A stronghold at 147, where they've got the biggest name at that weight, 2 of the biggest names. They've got Errol Spence, but we don't know what his situation is. We don't know the state of that man. But they've also got Manny Pacquiao. But the thing with Manny is Manny's fucking 40. How long do you think he's going to keep fighting, And if it's their plan to stage, several pay-per-views annually between, Fox and this in-demand deal, that this is what they want to do. This essentially means that they're going to use what decent fights, emphasis on decent, some of them may not even be pay-per-view worthy, but whatever fights they have that are of mild interest, they're likely going to try to stage those fights as pay-per-views because they don't actually have a very big stable of fighters. They don't have a big enough stable to where you can justify staging 4 to 5 pay-per-views that are actually pay-per-view worthy. The other notariable names in several weight classes are on other sides of the street, but we know the PBC doesn't actually want to work with them. So if they're going to stage 4 to 5 fights, I guess we can expect, I don't know, Danny Garcia being on a pay-per-view for fighting, fuck if I know what, Spence? Do you guys think that's a pay-per-view worthy fight? I don't know. But the other 4 to 5 pay-per-views they plan on staging. I mean, essentially what it means is what I told you before. That a lot of shit that you were getting for free on either regular Fox or on regular Showtime, they're likely going to charge you guys for that stuff. That looks like what's going to happen because they don't actually have a big enough stable of fighters to where they've got all the big names. That would thereby warrant staging certain fights as pay-per-views. That means more fights like Wilder vs. Ortiz 2. Fights that don't belong on pay-per-view, but they ended up there anyway, and we see the aftermath. But yeah, that's what it means. And whether or not that's good or bad news likely depends on who you ask. It's a non-issue to me because, I'm actually boycotting the PBC, so it doesn't affect me in the least bit. I get all my good fights from either ESPN, ESPN Plus, or DAZN. If you don't mind paying $75 for a regular old card, regular old fights, hey, more power to you. It's your money, assuming you're going to spend it, though I don't think you will, because, most of these PBC shows, they don't actually buy those pay-per-views. But, it is what it is. In other news, a story that grabbed my attention given how some people chose to report on it, Anthony Joshua breaks down fight purse ahead of Andy Ruiz Jr. heavyweight rematch. You see, this was a story that was deliberately misconstrued due to what Anthony Joshua stands to earn. And in his own words, Anthony Joshua said, "When you look at it, it's like you earn 100 pounds, you pay a lot to the tax man, a lot to the trainer, and before you know it, you're left with, in reality, 30 or 40%. So it's not really what it seems. You have to manage yourself and not get flustered about what you think is yours, because 50 or 60 or 70% of it isn't." And this statement, I reiterate, was deliberately misconstrued. You see, Anthony Joshua is reportedly set to make $85 fucking million, okay? And there are some people out there that don't like that because it further denotes that Anthony Joshua is the top earning fighter in the entire heavyweight division, none compares, and that he's one of the highest earning boxers in the entire sport of boxing. This rubs certain people the wrong way, thus they gravitated towards embellishing certain elements of the story, certain elements of the quote, as if to say that Anthony Joshua isn't set to earn $85 million, when in reality, he is set to earn $85 fucking million, as all these different reports circulating suggest. He is set to make that, but he, like anybody, has expenses.
You gotta pay your taxes, obviously, and you have to pay your trainer, the members of your team that help you prepare. These are the expenses that essentially every fighter has. Every fighter has to pay the piper. That's what Anthony Joshua was talking about. Yet the members of the Crayon crew chose to tell the story as if to say that Anthony Joshua is not actually earning $85 million when he is. He's just not going to take that home after he covers all his expenses, though whatever he is taking home is substantially more than either Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury take home after they cover all their expenses. That's the part that they left out, that Wilder's got expenses, Fury's got expenses, everybody's got expenses. But once all the expenses are covered, Anthony Joshua is still taking home a hell of a lot more than they are, and it's because he generates a hell of a lot more than they do. That's the part of the story that rubs him the wrong way, and that is the motivation, the fuel for, why they chose to tell this story the way that they did. And it's absolutely ridiculous. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it because this is obvious stuff, but you can't expect these grade school level Crayon crew guys to be able to wrap their minds around complicated elements of finance, that, there's no such thing as a free lunch, that there are expenses, even for top earning athletes.
You ain't know?
You tell them this stuff and you might as well be speaking in Chinese. They don't understand it.
Oh, I know it might not be that complicated to me and you, but to these guys, it might as well be quantum physics, this stuff, it's like a foreign language to these guys.
Ist das wahr?
And, since they're paying so much attention to what Anthony Joshua's expenses are, they really should be paying more attention to what Wilder's expenses are, because doesn't he have like 3 or 4 managers?
Yeah.
You got Shelly Finkel, that's 1. JD's, who doubles as both your trainer and your manager, that's 2. Could be 3. You got the ever-present, omnipotent Al Heyman, who's your advisor, and in some ways, he's your manager, too. That's at least 3 or 4 right there. This guy's got a lot of hands in his pocket. He really does. He's got all these hands in his pocket, yet he doesn't actually generate the kind of money that Anthony Joshua does. So he's taking home substantially less than what's being reported. They won't make videos about that, though, will they? It's not about choosing sides. It's not about, standing by your man the way that these guys are doing, because that's how they treat the situation whenever these elements of the sport of boxing are discussed. They treat the situation as if they're standing by their man, when in reality, the only thing that matters is the truth and sticking to it. But these guys, they're actually incapable of doing that. How many times has the narrative changed in the last 2-3 years, on any variety of subjects? 1 minute they're saying that they want Wilder to fight Anthony Joshua, and the next minute they're making excuses for him to reject offers and not fight him. These guys can't make up their minds on what they want, because the only thing they want is for Deontay Wilder to fuck him in the ass. these guys don't actually know if they want Wilder to fight Anthony Joshua, if they don't want Wilder to fight Anthony Joshua. The only thing that they know with an absolute certitude is that they are mad over Deontay Wilder. They love that guy. Love him a little bit too much.
Seems that way.
You know that Anthony Joshua could win on Saturday, get his belts back. Or he could lose on Saturday, and you know, it's going to be a tough road thereafter. But I mean, I'm still going to be a boxing fan, you know. The world doesn't end, the sun doesn't rise or set based on what happens with a single fighter. I mean, boxing is a huge sport with many participants, you know, whereas these guys, they're just so focused on Deontay Wilder. It's like, okay, is this even about boxing for you? Because it really doesn't feel like it is. I'll tell you that, as a longtime fan of the sport, hindsight being 2020, I don't recall fans of the sport engaging in these kinds of shenanigans in what was the Don King, Rock Newman, Lou Duva era of boxing, to where fans are deliberately spreading misinformation because I guess they don't want other fans to know that one fighter makes more money than another fighter, their favorite fighter. I mean, this is what boxing has become. Wasn't always that way, but that's the way it is today. And it's kind of like the point goes right over these guys' heads, you know, that the only reason that any attention at all is being given to finance, to the financial aspects of the sport, is to make the determination as to who's ducking who.
That's the basic idea.
That's for this reason that they don't really want to have that conversation right now. They want to accuse people of being pocket watchers, or if they're going to have the conversation, they feel so inclined to lie, because right now it's rather inconvenient to their narrative to bring up how Anthony Joshua's out-earning Wilder by an even wider margin than he was out-earning him before. Yet, only a few months ago, these were the same guys that were bragging about how Wilder's decisions would lead to generational wealth.
Remember that?
Well, a couple of months ago seemed like a good idea. But not right now. Not while Wilder's flopping on pay-per-view. Now's not a good time for Deontay Wilder fan to start talking about finance, you know? Not while most every credible news source is reporting the same thing, that Anthony Joshua was set to make an astronomical amount of money in defeat. In defeat, all for loss, his first pro loss. He's still out-earning Wilder by a wide margin. But you know, right now, finance for a Wilder fan, it's a bit of an uncomfortable conversation. And that's why you see these guys, you know, stretching and bending the truth. That is their coping mechanism.